Welcome to Gatone Stadium on September 16th, 2016 for the Vineland High Cherry Hill East game. The Vineland High Fighting Clan is 1-0. Cherry Hill East Cougars 0-1. This is a matchup in the new West Jersey League format, and Vineland, which is playing out of the Cape Atlantic League at this time, will meet many new teams along the way, and Cherry Hill East is one of them. And before my partner, Rich Scarpa, who handles the play-by-play, my name is John Parentazzi. I'm a hand on the color analyst. And it is a beautiful night here at Gatone Stadium, Rich.
A beautiful night at the best stadium, if not the state, definitely South Jersey. The setting has always been wonderful here. Great stadium. Last year we had the new scoreboards. I'm watching basically football card pics of all the players up there and action shots. Just going to be really nice for the student body and the community. We got to talk a little bit about last week's game. And, in a 7-0 game, there's this going on, this going on. But when you look at it, that defense handled one of the top players in the state and handled them well. And we were talking pregame with Broom, the freshman, making a solo tackle in the slot on the last play of the game against a guy that's visited Ohio State. He's went to Oregon. He's going to Michigan. Like, that's what they were able to handle last week, as we see Isaiah Pops Pacheco, who was banged up last week, only played about a quarter. He's back in.
Cash Phillips.
Matter of fact, let's honor the seniors coming through. Cash Phillips, transfer from the prep, and Hamilton, that really ran the ball well last week.
Rayshawn Blakely.
And Blakely, the fullback, and defensively, a stalwart on that. Blakely gets some touches here and there, but does a lot of the dirty work blocking. And Richard Lane, one of the guys last week that got a lot of extra duty on the offensive side of the ball when Banks went down, and he handled those responsibilities well. He must have been tired after, as he was all over the field.
Rich, are they introducing the seniors? Is that what this is?
Yeah, they're introducing the seniors now.
Well,
I believe it was
not a senior, is he?
Well, maybe it's not seniors. Coach, yeah, he's only a junior.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is this the starting lineup?
Yeah, starting lineup. That's Datrell Williams. He's a running back and linebacker. So we're doing defense, and there's Cosby. And Cosby did an outstanding job as the defensive quarterback, aligning that team properly, as Vineland looked better pre-snap than they have in about a decade. And Naheem Anderson, big pressure in the backfield. Sacks, also had a big catch for about 35 yards in the last game.
Sophomore, defensive end, number 54, Anthony Reyes.
Reyes, I had the opportunity to talk to pregame, and just really wanted to congratulate him, as he was competing as one of the best freshman inside linebackers I've seen at Vineland, and he drops down to the defensive line and did an outstanding job. Had 2 sacks last week. So Ivan Hale comes through. Ivan playing both offense and defense, kind of sharing some time with Seymour, getting a little blow in there, but he's going to anchor down that defensive line spot. And Jay Ziegler, the big nose tackle.
I think
6'2",
he's the most
350.
improved player, Rich.
See, I don't go there with you. I thought he was our best defensive lineman last year, so I don't know about improved, but he's one of the best defensive linemen in the Cape Atlantic League, and last year really played well after Jones went out.
I think he has learned that he has to play the gaps.
Are you sure you're not thinking of the big one, Jones, that was here last year?
Oh, yes, Jones.
He went out. He was playing tackle and defensive tackle and moved to nose. Right. So he played at nose the second half of the year. But if you compare Jones to Ziegler, yeah, there's a big improvement in technique and flow.
Right.
Jones was very big and controlled both A-gaps, but Ziegler can get outside a little bit further.
Did a great job.
So if I'm doing that, I'm saying, yeah, very much improved. And Ziegler was a defensive tackle last year and did a great job. So you heard most of the starting defense for today. I'll run you through the offense in a little bit. Let's talk about this visiting team, the Cougars from Cherry Hill East coming in. Coach Tom Cohn comes in after 10 years with 19 wins, 72 losses. It's been a rough go for him. 2013, 0-10, 2014, 1-9, 2015, 2-8. So slowly stepping up. But right now, Cherry Hill East has 9 consecutive losses, and they're up against it tonight with Vineland. As Vineland's captains head out there, it's Seymour allotted in, and that's Banks on the far side with the sophomore Bachma in the middle. But they're in for it with Vineland. Vineland matches up really well with Cherry Hill East. Cherry Hill East quarterback's going to be Mitch Donovan, only a sophomore, and that's something we're going to see with a lot of Cherry Hill East players, a lot of sophomores, a lot of underclassmen. Donovan last week in a 48-0 loss to Paul VI was 4 for 10 passing for 36 yards. He comes in at 5'9", 160. Starting running back will be number 3, Gary Jackson, at 6 foot 190. Look for him to try, and look for the Cougars to try to just pound the ball, take some time off the clock here a little bit. Defensively, it's going to be Dante Gerlaza, the linebacker number 15, and Elijah Atkins. They lead that defense for the Cougars. Talking about the Cherry Hill East Cougars coming in and playing Vineland, this is only the 3rd time. And I was talking to Coach pregame, and in 1978 was the first time they played, and that was in the state semifinals. His coach was a defensive coordinator then, before he became the head coach. But Cherry Hill East beat Vineland 21-20 in a classic game. And then 2008, it was Vineland 34, Cherry Hill East 14 in a consolation game. And that leads us to today's action. Coach?
We were up there, Rich, remember?
Yeah.
We were up there for that. Nice complex. Cherry Hill East has always been, both high schools play at the one field.
Mm-hmm. And I can remember going to West a lot for those consolation games. For Vineland, it's Coach Russo in his 4th season at 9-22. But Vineland looking to go 2-0 to start the season for the 3rd straight year. And this year, the competition really increased with Bridgeton, a 3 consecutive year playoff team that Vineland edged out 7-0. As the color guard gets ready for our national anthem, we'll step aside. We have some sponsors tonight. We're going to run through the first 5 of them now. And we, of course, like to thank them for sponsoring Vineland football on VPS 9. We'll start off with the Greenview Inn. That's the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, 4049 Italia Avenue, Vineland. You can call them at 856-691-5558. And Beretta Plumbing and Heating. That's Beretta Plumbing and Heating at 1784 Pine Avenue, Vineland, 856-691-1950. Newfield Bank with 11 locations in Cumberland and Gloucester County, 1-800-690-3440. Richland Carpet and Flooring. That's Richland Carpet and Flooring at 1309 Harding Highway, Richland, 856-697-3041. And RK Auto Group, Chevrolet, Kia, and Subaru at 502 North Delsea Drive in Vineland. You can reach them at 856-696-8400.
A lot of connection on those sponsors. You know that. You want to talk about the Green Bobby Bono was our center. And you talk about Richland Carpeting as Bernozzi. So you get, you know, there's a lot, and it's good to see all those sponsors, you know.
So Vineland will be kicking off. It's Robert Kling doing the place kicking and kickoff duties. Actually handled some punts last week. Looks like Pacheco will be back as Vineland's ready to shovel along. It's going to come down at the 22. Big hit and dropped in his tracks. Nice way to start. That's Blakely.
Cherry Hill ball carrier brings the ball across the 25.
Sean Blakely delivers a shot to him.
26. Cherry Hill will have it first and 10.
That was a good
at
hit.
Their own 26.
So look for a little bit of the Cougar offense to be pretty basic, pretty vanilla. And right now, if you look at Vineland, we're talking a 2 and 3 win team, you know, building on everything we're building to this year and the following year. But I'm not sure the Cougars are ready for this one here with Vineland's offense, looking at just that 7 points last week, but they should have it on track this week. So new look at quarterback for the Cougars, as it looked like Yusuf Gordon's in there, number 21. So a quick
I'm
5
sorry,
yards.
Rich. You can't do this. You can't have a penalty to start the game.
So
And you know, I want to be positive, but you just can't do it.
Gordon's going to keep it himself, has a little seam through the middle, breaks one tackle, then another one. Pacheco trying to drag him down, brings him down, but not
Ball
after he
carrier
gains
number
about
21.
7 or 8 for the first down.
That is Yusuf Gordon.
So Yusuf Gordon,
He will
first
stop
start
on
in there
number
at
1,
quarterback
Pacheco.
for the Cougars.
Ball be spotted at the 38. Be first
Pretty
and
nice
10.
design play, Rich. They got
For
outside,
Cherry Hill East.
you know.
So we look for 3 Jackson to get the bulk of the work. And again with that wishbone, 3 back straight behind Yusuf Gordon. Vineland sends pressure. Possibly ball loose on the ground.
I don't see no signals, so they must have recovered it, Rich. Yep,
All right, second down.
hand went up. You know it's their ball. I don't know if it,
Second down and
it's a
10.
shame we don't
Again,
mention
ball be
Reap. I
spotted
don't
at
know if
38.
the center handoff was fumbled.
So a loss of 1 for the Cougars. Not sure Vineland's that concerned with the pass because it's just a tight end and 1 wide receiver. As it looks like Naheem Anderson's going to come across a little early. So setting up a 2nd and 6. Great shots down there on the field. We mentioned our crew tonight. Mark McGill, Skylar Laberno, Kayla Spire. Crew chiefs Doug Diola and Ryan Steinbraun. And executive producer of VPS TV is Gia Masuri, the school district's public information officer. So 2nd and about 5. Gordon gives right up the middle and stopped in his tracks, maybe a gain of 1.
Pacheco did a nice job. He came up from his corner spot and filled the hole very well.
Yeah, and up front, Ziegler stands it up. Pacheco and Cosby clean it up.
3rd and about 4 yards to go.
That's where you're mentioning those penalties. That's where the penalties really get you, because I don't know if this team can run 3 times and get 10 yards that often. Real nice uniforms. It's a blackout game, as they call it. A lot of the fans and, of course, the team in all black. Real nice to see their names on the back of there as we see 54 Reyes jump to the other side at D tackle in that upright position. Vineland creeps to the ball. So big 3rd down here. And it's option, and there's some room to the outside, and just stepping on the line out of bounds goes Mitch Donovan.
Cherry Hill ball carries the ball across the 50. To about the 45.
So into Vineland territory go the
10.
Cougars.
The Cherry Hill East ball game.
Very tough to defense the Wishbone Ridge without a defensive end.
Great point.
It really is, because you can't control that outside, and the quarterback's running twice.
Mm-hmm. And pretty well.
Look at the lineup we have. We have 3 down linemen with no defensive end.
It's just right up the middle. There's nothing doing there. A little bit of late push by the Cougars. Picks up about 2 or 3.
Ball carrier brings it 45. Get the ball across the 45.
So we're at 9:26 in the first. It's been a methodical, slow-moving drive for the Cougars, just what they want to do.
Rich, they have a new quarterback in there. That's not Donovan.
No, Donovan was just in for the one play. It's been Yusuf Gordon, all the others. He's the one that's carried the ball through the middle a couple of times. Boy, and that fullback is close. There's a give to the fullback. Looks like Cosby comes up and gives him a shot right in his tracks. Nice hit by Cosby.
Nice job up front. The 3 down linemen are playing the gaps very well. The place we got hurt was outside.
Yeah, Ziegler, Hales, and Reyes doing a really nice job in the middle.
Ball was spotted at the 42.
Had to put that light on. My eyes are getting old, Coach.
This drive started on the Cherry Hill 25, Rich.
So big 3rd down for the Cougars, and it looks like a delay of game has been called on Cherry Hill. So they're going to move back. It's going to make it 3rd and about 11.
It's the 3rd down and 11 yards to go.
So the Cougars haven't shown pass yet, and it's going to be tough to pass with the 3 back straight behind and nobody able to get out of there. So look for a run here. And there's the run over the right side and nothing doing. As Hale makes the initial shot up on the line.
Reyes filled the hole very well, Rich, again.
Yeah, Reyes and Detrell Williams.
Yeah.
Number 54.
So you mentioned that Vineland starting defense. It's Hale up front with Ziegler and Reyes. Outside linebackers, Kenton Lane. 3 guys kind of inside are Anderson, Cosby, and Williams. Pacheco and Phillips at corner, and Blakely at free safety. So now it's punt time for the Cougars. Good snap. Kicks away, nice looking kick. What a nice job by Phillips. Stays on his feet. First, a brave job catching that with the Cougars right in his face, and he just kicks free of a tackle, pulling his leg out and picks up about 15 on the return.
First and 10. Ball will be spotted at the 37.
Not sure, Coach. Was that Blakely or Phillips? May have been Blakely.
Yeah, it was Blakely.
Sorry about that. Blakely, awesome job. He's the hard-running fullback that last year, didn't get all the touches you wanted, but he certainly led most of those runs. So 1st and 10 for Vineland now. It's Isaiah Pacheco in the shotgun with Seymour alongside, and it's a reverse, and the ball's on the ground, and it's going to be jumped on as Phillips jumps on top of it. A little loss on that first play as Vineland tried to go reverse early.
2nd down. 2nd, about 15 yards to go. Ball will be spotted at the 32.
What play do we start off with every game, Rich? Dive right.
I would have to go option 1.
Option 1.
Option 1, left
You
or
get the
right.
feel of the game. That's a tough play to call opening game. You're handling the ball.
Play. Pacheco to pass. He rolls. He's going to keep it himself. He's to the 35. Takes a hit, stays on his feet. Picks up a nice block to the 40 and 43-yard line. I believe that was Seymour that made that block for him there. Nice hard running by Pacheco. He's going to have the first down.
That's the Pacheco of freshman year, Rich.
Yeah, we watched with Randall Cunningham, we watched with
Donovan
McNabb. There's that fine line between using that speed and agility and sticking to the game plan and making throws. And sometimes you get hung up in the middle using half and half and forcing things. Pacheco looked good on that one. So 1st and 10 approaching midfield. Here's Seymour's first touch over the left side. He's through the middle, makes a couple moves, and finishes over top of Gary Jackson, the defender. Gain of about 18 on that one.
The 35.
Very well played.
Vineland just
Took a
looks
step to the right, then went left.
Vineland just looks
1st and 10 for the
a
Fighting
little
Clan of
bigger,
Vineland.
especially up front. Up front for Vineland, Noah Sansalone, 6'3", 245. Timmy Jones, 5'11", 210 at the tackles. Pacheco gives to Phillips. He cuts it up through the middle, has a seam. He trucks the defender. He hit him with the high. He's down at the 18.
Brings the ball across
Nice
the
job
20.
by Phillips. You know, Phillips runs that really well. He
To
doesn't
about the
get
17.
strung out to the side. And he may be our best north-south runner. He really does a great job of getting
There's a
every
flag
yard he
on the
can.
field.
He showed some real.
Face mask call
Rich, we had a
against
face
Cherry Hill
mask
East.
penalty against him.
Against the Cougars, so we'll get even a little closer.
Yeah. Half the distance.
Got 5:49 to go here in the first.
Rich, that's down to the, looks like the
Ball be
9-yard
spotted at the
line.
9.
Yeah.
So first
First
and
and
goal.
goal for the Fighting Clan of Vineland.
Blakely comes in as Phillips comes out. So Vineland so far has had their way on the ground. This time Pacheco himself to the 10, to the 5. He leaps the defender.
That's
into
number
the
1,
end zone
Isaiah
for the
Pacheco.
score.
Put the ball in high school
Turtles over the
touchdown.
top, and just that quick Vineland in the end zone. What an outstanding run. Talk about running downfield, putting pressure on the defense. Defender drops his head. Pacheco up high in the air into the end zone for the score. So 5:26 to go in the first quarter. Vineland on the board first. Illegal substitution on Vineland. They had an extra guy break the huddle. Coach Russo just finding out if he could call a timeout and negate that, but it's a little late for that. So they're going back. Very frustrating.
That's our 4th penalty already, Rich. With 5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Well, that shouldn't affect Kling on this try. So Robert Kling tries for the extra point. He shoots a missile through and banks it off the back wall.
Is good.
And of course, that's good. So
So
Vineland up on
5:26
top,
left in the first
7-0.
quarter. The Fighting Clan of Vineland lead
First quarter.
7-0.
That Vineland offense, failed to mention the wide receiver, starting today at wide receiver, 18. Wynick Kent, he's a junior at 6', 180. And on the other side, Vasilos Androsopoulos, he's a senior at 6', 170. They're your wideouts. I mentioned your running backs, Williams, Seymour, and Phillips, along with quarterback Pacheco. And that offensive line of Sansalone, Aladdin, Bachma, Hales and Ziegler, and Timmy Jones.
Rich, that was a 64-yard drive
And,
in a little under 2 minutes.
and it looked like, as you say, a hot knife through butter. It really looked
Yep.
like Vineland's going to be able, they continue this way, to get a strong push up front and really execute their running game. Coming into this, the old Cape Atlantic, you had Davon Seymour as one of the top returning backs. You had Cash Phillips to that, Blakely up in the middle, Datrell Williams. They got a lot of options there, not to mention quarterback Pacheco, who ran it in.
Be number 8,
So Kling the kick.
Josh Santana.
And he boots that one. It's high, end over end, down to the 10. Oh, and another big hit. But Vineland just looks bigger, faster, and stronger.
Reyes.
Ball carrier stop at number 2 for the Fighting Clan of Vineland.
The young man is all over the place.
Which number, Coach?
Reyes. sophomore.
Cherry Hill East have the ball. 1st and 10. Ball will be spotted at
Took that
20.
runner. Perfect tackle. Took him.
So Vineland's defense last time gave up a few yards on the ground before shutting down the Cougars. Cherry Hill East, with their struggles, certainly doesn't travel well. Just about 40 fans on that side.
You have the over tonight. I have the under.
Of 40, yeah. Checking in late for the Cougars is their wideout, Josh Santana. Oh, collision in the backfield between the quarterback and the running back.
8,
and you certainly don't have time for that as Naheem Anderson comes in and makes another tackle for a loss.
Play. Brings up 2nd down. And about
you know, one thing about having the backfield so close to the quarterback, it really doesn't give him time to get away from that line
16.
as quick as they're getting through it. So we mentioned that option, Vineland vulnerable without ends on there.
Yeah.
But by the same token, the positive in that is with just the D lineman there, you can send a guy from a different spot now and again. And that time it works out great for the Fighting Clan. Again, that wishbone formation behind quarterback Yusuf Gordon. Gordon gives a little delay up the middle. And just about everybody on the Vineland team brings him down. Nice swarm tackle getting to the ball. It's going to maybe get back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd, and it looks like about 13.
Brings up 3rd down. About 13 yards.
Yeah, they've showed no really
ball
speed yet,
17.
Rich. They're trying to muscle by handing it off to the up back, and they haven't done a very good job with it.
Nice shot of Coach Russo there on the sideline. So 3rd down deep in their own end. Let's see if the Cougars try to throw here. Cherry Hill East yet to throw today. Gordon's going to keep it himself through the middle. And he picks up about 4 or 5. And the only reason that 4 or 5 was there because of the down and distance. He just gets a little bit before the Cougars look to punt.
Ball spotted at the 24.
Last time we had a nice run back.
I missed who went back there this time.
A little too deep, Rich.
Offsides Vineland. It's going to set up 4th down and about 2. You know, and that offside's a silly one. You weren't going for a block. You know, it's kind of like a jog across.
That's our 5th penalty, Rich.
4th and 2.
I'd watch that up back and stay home here, even though they're deep in their own end. As quick as Vineland went down the field, this 4th down may be about the best shot they have. And the kick is away. It's high. Coming down at the 38. It's bobbled. It's loose on the ground. Looked like Vineland initially had it, but it may have scored it through. Well, whoever had it in the beginning may not have it at the end. Great shot down there. Zoomed in on that rugby scrum.
Who did they give it to? Cherry Hill?
Looks like we got it. I see Sansalone going in the tackle and a lot in the guard. So yeah, Vineland does get the ball, and they're right up on it. That's what was confusing. You look for a huddle. Vineland right up on it. They're going to start in good field position at their own 47-yard line. We have 2:38 to go in the first. Anderson in at the tight end position. There's a give to Seymour, who comes forward, picks up about 4 or 5 before his hat flies off.
Davon Seymour brings the ball across the 50 to about the 48.
So your helmet's off, you come out for a play.
Yep.
Now you have Datrell Williams
Brings up
And
second
Blakely
down.
saying, let me get this one
Second
while
down
he's
and
out.
about 6 yards to go.
They
So 2nd and 5. Pacheco keeps it himself, stutter steps, dances through the middle. He's going to be close to that
Ball
first
carries number
down.
1, Isaiah Pacheco.
Looks like he has
Looks like
it.
he was stopped on the play by number 6.
Good patience by Pacheco on that one, as he just keeps his legs moving behind the line until he can find an opening.
Rich, this is the best I've seen him run since his freshman year.
Yeah,
Last year he was tentative.
and lateral a lot.
Yeah.
He's really getting down the field and putting some pressure on him.
Timeout for a measurement, Rich.
I've said this on broadcast in the past years, but once I get elected king of the world, you're going to be able to have a laser on the down marker. And you're going to shoot it across. You're going to see it hit a white thing. You're going to pick it up. If it hits the ball, it's a first down. If not, we could save a lot of time on these. And it's always dangerous when you run in, no matter how that clip is on the line. And Vineland gets their first down. So 1st and 10 for Vineland on the Cougar 43. It's been a nice job up front by the Vineland offensive line, though, so far. So we see Timmy Jones there, 57 at the end. And now Naheem Anderson covers him up from that tight end spot. Pacheco to throw. He's got time. He rolls to his left. Under pressure, loses his footing as he tries to cut back.
Number 1, Isaiah Pacheco.
That's going to be a loss for the Clan.
And he stopped in the backfield
About 8 yards.
For Cherry Hill East, Youssef Gordon. The loss of the play brings up 2nd.
So 2nd and long now.
Yeah, he had a couple guys open on the right side, Rich. It's tough to roll left and throw back right.
And he tried to get back around there to him, but here's Phillips. He's over the right side. A real nice lead block in there by Seymour.
Ball carries
And Phillips is
number 5,
going to pick that up, plus
Phillips.
a little more, setting up a serviceable
Brought down
3rd
right at
and
the
about
40.
8.
Looks like he was stopped on the play by number 73.
So 3rd and 8, Vineland
Brown.
probably in 2-down territory here at the Cougar
The 3rd
39.
down. And about 7 yards to go for the first. Ball spotted at 39.
Pacheco checks in, moves out, uses the block, stays on his feet somehow, but it's only going to pick up a couple on that.
Ball carrier against number 1, Isaiah Pacheco.
He really set up that first
But then
block
brought
well.
down right about the
As he
36.
stepped inside, got him to commit back to the outside.
Brings up 4th
Did a
down.
really nice job on that.
This
Fourth
is
down,
most
about 3 yards to
enthused
go for
I've
the
seen him.
first.
He really running with a lot of purpose and heart. Good for him.
So as we mentioned, Vineland going to go for it here on 4th down. You see the players looking at their wrist. All the plays are on the wrist. They're signaled in on the electronic number board. And there's Seymour over the right side as the buzzer goes for the first quarter. But
Ball
he's
carrier
got the
number 28,
first down.
Seymour.
He picks up about 4 or 5. So Vineland will have it
As the
1st
ball
and
be spotted
10.
at 27.
Right from the
Should be 1st and
27-yard
10
line
for
of the
Fighting
Cougars
Clan
as
of
we get
Vineland.
ready to start
And that
the
is the
second
end
quarter.
of the first quarter.
Vineland's offense kind of having their way early here.
Rich is kind of I don't know how to describe this. It's quarter went very fast. Each team had 2 possessions, and that's it. Vineland's second possession. Cherry Hill had 2, and they punted twice. We had a 64-yard drive to score. Now this drive started on our own 47, and Rich, what'd you say? We're down to around the 20?
I think we're
5.
20, 27.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good drive, too.
And converting that 4th down. But more so than that, that scramble where we dropped about 8-9 yards, making that back as we see 40 Ryan Banks, senior captain, in his elbow sling. He's a 4-year starter. He got hurt on the first play last week. His elbow banged up, and hopefully within a couple weeks, Banks will be back out. It's funny, Richard Lane comes right near him, and Lane's the one that picked up a lot of his duties. Lane, the starter defensively, got a lot of time offensively and did an outstanding job last week. So that's 5 quarters of shutout defense by the Vineland Fighting Clan. Seymour in the middle, not much there. He's going to really squirt forward pretty far at the end and pick up 4.
Brings the ball across the 25 to about
Running
26.
hard.
Yeah,
Very hard.
Right now it looks like their defensive ends are really getting up the field. Look for Vineland to try to come back underneath that instead of getting out wide. Coach Volpe and Russo will make those adjustments.
The old tackle blast, Rich.
Always look forward to that one. Even though I wasn't a tackle, I got to watch a tackle kill somebody that wasn't paying attention. So 2nd down. Seymour again. Pacheco pulls it out. He's got a big opening through the middle. He's to the 10, the 5, into the end zone for his 2nd score of the game. Isaiah Pacheco takes it in from about the 24-yard line. Boy, what a wide open seam to run through there. As we get a look at Amber Sopopoulos, number 11, who led that blocking from the wide receiver spot. As Pacheco comes off, he's really having a nice game tonight. Not only great to see him play well and great to see him on the field, but missing him for 3 quarters last week really had some of the timing out of that Vineland offense, along with missing Banks last week. They've had a week to prepare. Kling for the kick. Another inch or 2 higher. We may have lost that football as that hits the very top of the net. Kling showing a strong leg. Vineland showing they can convert some extra points this year. It's 14-0 your Fighting Clan.
They don't seem to have an answer for a running game, Rich.
You know, Coach, I don't think it's scheme or this or that. When I coached with Coach Belfi, it was bigger, faster, stronger. And I think we have all 3 of those on our side today in this matchup. Because as you saw with Seymour getting hit for a loss of 1, ends up gaining 6 yards from there, picked up 5 on the carry. And defensively, so for Vineland, so far, they're not missing tackles. They're all getting to the ball. And the Cougars have yet to try to throw the ball.
Yeah, it's been a running push game.
No, it's been a great start for them. So what do you think, Coach? This is where you feel a little bit. Yeah, you get mesmerized. 2 of the VHS girls soccer players just checked in, Ali Scarpa, along with Devin Fisher, to charge their cell phones as we're ready to go here. Everybody's shuffling along. Here's the kick by Kling. He drives it deep. It's down to the 5 and into the end zone. What a boot by Kling. Didn't even have a chance to see if the Vineland girls team won or lost today.
For Cherry Hill.
Plenty of time. We are just 45 seconds into the 2nd quarter. 11:15 on the clock. As Cash Phillips readies himself.
Got some new players in, Rich. John Garcia is in the secondary. New players.
Oh, I noticed that now that you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Garcia, sophomore, 5'5", 130. He may have been the one back deep for that other punt before. So Yusuf Gordon's going to give it a try again. They're sticking with that full house wishbone backfield, straight dive up the middle. And there's no give, there's no push, there's no seam. It's really tough to move that Vineland defensive front.
Very, very uncoordinated wishbone. After they hand it to the fullback, the 2 backs just stand there, Rich. There's no outside movement or.
Yeah, and when you're giving it to that fullback, run up and put a shoulder in his back, help push him through or something. Everybody's just kind of stopping on the play.
No, carry your fake out.
front, Ziegler, 6'2", 350. Hale, 6'3", 285. Reyes, 6', 229. They are dominating the line of scrimmage, along with Cosby, Anderson, Williams. The inside backers coming out wide. They try to get outside, and not only able to make the stop on the play is Datrell Williams, but there's a couple other guys hanging out just waiting to get their opportunity. Very well defended by the Clan.
Yeah. Williams did a nice job by not giving up the outside. Very well done.
3rd down and 11.
Yeah, it was the first thing that they kind of faked in the middle and tried to get out, and really sticking to their guns and playing their positions well as that Vineland defense. Again, a negative drive at this point. It's 3rd and about 11. Vineland set, Yusuf Gordon. Under center for the Cougars, and another delay on the Cougars.
Wow.
They're going to move backwards. Coach, I'll tell you what, the nice thing about calling this game is there's been a lot of years where we kind of looked a little more like the Cougars.
16.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm already saying to myself in my head, I'm like, what a shame. These guys just can't seem to get much going. And we paid our dues. It's time to put it on somebody tonight, Clan. Anderson shows blitz. He's through, and he hits the quarterback as he gets the ball. Count that as a sack for Naheem Anderson, a loss of 1 on the play.
Anderson.
And you know what's nice? He knew the cadence, jumped it. The last drive started with Yusuf Gordon, the quarterback for the Cougars, trying to go on a second sound, and nobody jumped that time. So now, if you're a guard, it's the last thing you want to see is somebody coming through your A gap with a nose on top, and actually somebody else hitting your B gap. You don't know who to get. So 4th down and punt time. Standing at his own 2 to punt. And it looks like the Cougars are going to take a timeout. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. They had all 11.
Timeout.
But they'll take a timeout with 8:49 to go in the first half. Vineland set to get the ball back in great field position as Isaiah Pacheco is back deep for the Fighting Clan with Cash Phillips right in front of him.
Game here at Gatone Memorial Stadium.
It's been
October
a
22nd.
relatively fast half, Rich. Of course, there's been no
players,
passing.
past friends.
You know, clock's running.
Future friends.
Yeah.
You know, the running
So
play.
make sure we see your face in the place
Vineland
at homecoming.
has
October
dominated
22nd.
the play. They've only had the ball twice.
Well, if I'm Cherry Hill, I think at this point I get rid of that wishbone and just put one of my backs out in a slot and pull one of those 3 middle linebackers that Vineland playing.
Yeah.
You know, they'll usually get wider, but with them bunched up, you have 3 guys, 3 linebackers between the tackles and 3 D linemen. There's 6 of them in there dominating the 5 offensive players. See if Coach.
He dropped it, Rich. The punter dropped the ball, fell on it.
I think Anderson may have been offsides. Sure enough, he was, but no harm there. It's still going to be 4th and about 11.
Rich, that's his 5th penalty.
And we had 2 from outside pressure on punts. You know, we talk about down and distance. You also got to know situation. Let's just get this ball back. The offense hasn't been stopped yet. There's the snap. Naheem Anderson misses the short kick, and it takes a Cougar bounce and wisely downed on the play.
Ball be spotted
by
right at the
Dante
40.
Gazzola.
Fighting Clan take over 1st and 10 from the Cherry Hill East 40.
So Vineland starts in Cougar territory at the 40. Last week it was the offense getting stopped most of the time. This week they've yet to be stopped. And defensively,
Best field position of the night right now, Rich.
Coach Russo and defensive coordinator Clifton Smith looking to make this 6 quarters of not giving up any points defensively and as a team at all. So 1st and 10. Now they come back to the reverse. Pacheco makes a block, and straight up the gut for a gain of about 8 or 9 goes Phillips. See, that's one of those
play they tried to open the game.
Yep, they got it right this time. And that's one of the times that you can really appreciate Phillips getting upfield. That was a case where he could have bellied back about 5 yards, tried to outrun that contain, and got brought down on a loss. Instead, you pick up 7 yards by squaring it and heading up. Awesome run by Phillips. 2nd and 3. Seymour, straight through the middle, spins, just needs to fall forward to get the first down.
He got it, Rich.
And he got it.
Seymour. Looks like he stopped on play by number 21.
Very, very
That's Yusuf
underrated offensive line.
Yeah, they've done it.
Blocking very well. They're firing out, which is a really good sign.
And you know what, Coach? You're going to get to watch 4 of the 5 of them next year. As Sansaloon's a junior, Aladdin is a junior, Bachman's a sophomore, and Timmy Jones a junior. Seymour, stutter steps, lurches forward for about 3 or 4.
Ball carrier again is number 28, Devon Seymour. He was stopping the play.
Blakely back in for the Clan.
By number 15, Dante Gazzola.
It's only 2nd down, Rich. Plenty of space out there
2nd and
to the
7.
right.
Well, of course, I'd like to see a touchdown, but I'd also like to see Kling put his foot in the one and pick up a field goal. But we'll wait till later on that. Pacheco fakes, pops to the outside, looking for a block from Blakely. And he picks up about 2 or 3 on
ball
that.
Ball carrier number 1, Isaiah Pacheco.
Defended very well
Yeah,
by one of the Cougars on the outside there. That may have actually been their
we're
defensive
talking about
lineman.
running north and south, Rich. That time he should have cut it up. It would have been all right.
3rd down.
So now's where you need to know down and distance, and that's what Seymour did really well on that last drive, coming forward for the first down. See if they go right to the big workhorse Seymour, and they do, right through the middle. Straight arms, drives, pulls forward, first down.
Ball carries number 28, Devon Seymour.
Boy's running hard tonight.
He's a little lower at contact, too. Last week we were noticing that high hat, his helmet, up a little bit. And of course, you don't want them bent over leading with their head, but you want to be in a good, solid position, not exposing all that midsection, and he's doing that very well tonight.
Drive started on the 40, Rich. We're down to the 15. Good drive. First down.
Still 6+ minutes to go. It's like a possible equipment timeout, and we're ready to go. Give to Seymour. Stays on his feet, spins, and somehow he's going to get in the end zone as a late flag comes in. We'll have to see what the flag is.
There is a flag on the play.
It's been a 16-yard run. Let's see which way this call's going. It's possibly around a holding area downfield, and it is on the Fighting Clan. So Vineland's still going to be in pretty good field position here, as they're going to have a 1st and about 4. Kind of think that down marker needs to move a little bit, but make it 1st and 5. Seymour's great run comes off the board, and another Fighting Clan penalty. Pacheco looks to throw, and it's high, but Anderson pulls it down. It's a high pass where only Anderson could get it right on the money, from Pacheco to Anderson for the touchdown. Nice zip on that pass, and Anderson with a nice pattern. Great job blocking up front as Vineland cashes in. Have to save cashes in for when Phillips gets one tonight. I won't use that one again, Coach. Anderson had a big reception last week. Has another big one here. Kick is up and effortlessly in and good. Kling converts his 3rd.
So with 5:50 remaining in the 2nd quarter, the Fighting
So
Clan
after
now leads
Cherry Hill East
21
moved the
to
ball a
nothing.
little bit on their first drive, not much after that for them.
3 possessions, Rich, 3 scores.
And for Cherry Hill, 4 possessions and about 6 yards because I think they had negative to go on a few of them. That Vineland defense probably has given up under 25 yards. We look at what Vineland's up against, and now that we're in the West Jersey League. The Vineland division is called the Continental. It has St. Augustine Prep, Millville, Vineland, AC, Bridgeton, Egg Harbor. And we'll see Egg Harbor coming up next week, right, Coach?
Yep.
Next week, Egg Harbor will come in here. Egg Harbor had a rough first night, so we get a shot at the crowd filling in a little bit here. Also, a lot of people ringing the field down by the end zones. So already St. Augustine, Millville, and Vineland out at 1-0. AC, Bridgeton, Egg Harbor 0-1. Vineland looking to jump to 2-0. And the last 2 games of the year for Vineland are who you would think would be the more of the favorite in there. St. Augustine Prep, of course, #1 in South Jersey. And then Millville, your rival. Kling drives another one. Well over the head of the defenders. Hits down inside the 5. And another touchback. That's 2 touchbacks on kickoffs. I don't think I've seen a touchback on a kickoff since Ross Romano about a decade ago. Nice job, nice leg by Kling.
Who was the big young man that kicked for us? Williams?
When I played with you?
Was it Williams? Kid who went to down to Florida.
That may have been before me. We had Dowdy and Greif when I was with you. Then we had Ocean City when they were tough and field goal games down there. So 1st and 10 for the Cougars. They're looking to get something going with 5:50 on the clock. This is the first time they've split out some receivers and don't have 3 backs back. So from the shotgun formation, offensive lineman number 73, Devin Brown, the senior at 6'1", 310 for the Cougars, sees the pressure coming and pulls up out of his stance, make it 1st and 15.
Well, I disagree with that call, Rich.
Oh, he came up before we even were 2 yards
Yeah,
from
but
him.
there's a rule that says you can't fake the man on the line.
Oh, we were going until he stood up. No, we didn't like come up and stomp. We were still 4 yards away from him, and he's been getting yelled at on that sideline enough. Swim move, getting past the ball carrier, but that defensive line, who was that on that right side? Came in and made a heck of a play. Possibly Williams getting involved is a bigger loss. So 51 Cosby getting the signal from the sideline, and Vineland's going to take a timeout with 5:33 to go. As Coach Clifton Smith goes out there to talk to his defense, and they played well today. As I mentioned last week, Coach Clifton Smith, in his first coordinating position, he took over for Coach Phil Bernozzi, who went over to Paul VI to actually beat the Cougars last week. But for Cliff Smith, it's a shutout against a 3-year-in-a-row playoff team in Bridgeton. Pitching another one here and looking very, very well. I worked with Cliff in the summer, and I found out he played for the Redskins and the Browns. So I started asking him. He doesn't like to talk about it. Then we found out about his arena football, and I finally got him to bring in his Topps football card. He had a couple of them of him. So it's really nice that he's getting this extra responsibility. Last year was the linebacker coach, and had freshman Reyes and Cosby in the middle there with Banks on the outside and Anderson, really a dominant linebacking core. So you see him make his way off the field. Not only does Vineland have speed defensively, they have size and strength up top that they can just have those 3 guys there, and they can battle 3-on-5 and have standoffs there most of the game. So Vineland stays pat. It's a blast over the left side, and before he can get outside, that interior line again drags him down. They hold him down. They hold him, drag him down. Cosby cleans him up.
Cherry Hill East ball carrier stopped by number 51, Daquan Cosby.
Vineland with another timeout with 5:21 to go. So 4th and long. Now it's going to be 4th and right about 19.
Rich, do you understand this? The timeouts with this much time left?
I
I don't understand it.
I would probably have waited a little bit,
Yeah.
but
I mean, you're going to get the ball back.
and we moved pretty quickly. Well, I guess you're going to shorten one of their drives. They decide to shorten this one when they have them pinned back deep inside their own 15. I would say, last week I'd say, great job. Give your offense time to move, but the offense doesn't need much time to move tonight. They've been executing brilliantly. All right, so time to punt. Solomon Byatt, the junior for the Cougars, back to kick. Phillips establishes himself as the shorter, or now he's going back deep. Now the Cougars coach is out on the field. Coach Cohn, he pulls his team over.
I didn't see any signal for a timeout, Rich.
No, and Vineland's not thinking timeout as the guys are still out on the field. And there's big 52 Ziegler
he
up in the middle.
started the clock.
Well, I can't see Coach Cohn from the Cougars being that upset or disappointed. It was a 48-0 shellacking last week. Now the down marker's back to third. That was, I believe it was fourth down up on the marker earlier. So the down marker's saying 3, so let's make that third down now. That must have been the wrong down because Coach argued and talked to him, and they're getting another shot at it. So third down and about 19. And the first pass of the game. Richard Lane, big pressure. It's floated high and through the hands of the intended receiver as Cash Phillips in coverage. That ball just floats over the head of Josh Santana. Big pressure from Richard Lane. And now it's time to punt for the Cougars.
Yeah, that was, I couldn't figure out what that was, Rich. Remember the penalty negated one of the downs.
Yeah, I'm sure they were right because after they talked,
Yeah.
they moved it to third, but I was right along with it being fourth. But anyway, just takes about 5 or 6 seconds off the clock, and again, to punt go the Cougars. The kick is away, and it's short, and it's called at the 35. Looking for a place to go is Phillips. Big hit by Naheem Anderson.
Yeah, but it's going to get called back.
Cash Phillips for the touchdown.
That's coming back.
Flag on the play.
Anderson delivers a blow, and the officials are calling that one unnecessary because the guy was a few yards behind the ball. And back when you were coaching, that would never be a penalty. But the way they call the game now, and for safety, that's something they call once in a while here, as he was just a little too removed from the play. I would have got an attaboy in films for that hit that Anderson gave, and right now you're getting a why'd you do that? The game has changed all over, not just the pros with all the protection for everybody, but down here, of course, at the high school level. And great hit, great clean hit by Anderson, but when you're too far removed, the back is broke, this guy's not going to catch him, you're not supposed to hit him in today's football game. But great hit. Anyway, one of the stranger things was the guy that got level got up and was cheering when he saw the flag.
No, he wanted to go after Anderson.
So there's many mistakes being made on the Cougar sideline, and that would have been another one. So 1st and 10 for the Clan. They're back at their own 39 as Cash Phillips runs the punt back in for a touchdown, but a penalty brings it back to the 39. So Phillips will have to wait to try to get his. And that play's blown dead. So a second play in a row, a touchdown comes off as Phillips has this one in the end zone, and they're saying no good, try again, Cash. So Cash Phillips, 2 plays in a row, gets in the end zone for a score. We have offsides on the Cougars, and I did hear a whistle earlier. The play was blown dead. not everybody hearing it. So Phillips, 2 plays in a row in the end zone. Would have been the second touchdown pass for Pacheco.
Yeah, I don't understand that, Rich. I thought they let that play go if the play is in motion already, but
not in high school.
Really?
Yeah, once they break that neutral zone, it's done. But only thing was only one official saw it. Back to pass again. Does he want Phillips again? Pacheco stutter steps, comes through the middle. He's got a little bit of a seam, spins around, and finally wrestled down at the 15 after a gain of about 20 yards.
That was number 1, Isaiah Pacheco on the carry. It's brought down right about the 16.
Cherry Hill East not a large squad number-wise either.
The first and 10 for the Fighting Claim of
About
Vineland.
35 players listed on their roster. So you're seeing the best of them right now as they're going to be worn out as this game progresses. Heavy pressure from the Fighting Clan. Pacheco says, I'm going to throw it again. He's got an opening. He's looking for somebody, floats it to the end zone, and Naheem Anderson catches it.
No.
Right in front of Datrell Williams.
No, he broke the plane.
Flag on the
Broke
play.
the plane. He was past the line of
Oh,
scrimmage.
he went past the line of scrimmage, Pacheco.
Yeah.
So a third touchdown coming back on this drive. Pacheco keeps it alive, so patient, almost like a 7-on-7 without a rush. He directs his guys around. He has Datrell Williams waiting for it. Anderson comes across and takes it from Datrell, but neither of that's going to count as our third touchdown's coming back. So 3 touchdowns back, 1 on an offsides on the defense, 1 on a beautiful hit that was just a little bit too far away, and this third one as Pacheco creeped over the line. So 2nd and 15. Pacheco looks really strong standing back there in a nice pocket provided by that offensive line. Here's a blitz getting through. Pacheco says, I'll take it with my legs. He's to the outside to the 20. Puts on the brakes to the 10. Nifty, shifty move. What a run by Isaiah Pacheco. As he hits the brakes, and the defenders are now scraping themselves off the field like Allen Iverson breaking some ankles with a crossover. Pacheco pumps the brakes, gets in the end zone. Basilis Anthropopoulos does a nice job not clipping somebody on the way in, staying off as he helps set up a screen to get him in. Nice job by Basilos, of course, but an awesome, outstanding run by number 1, Isaiah Pops Pacheco, who gets in for the 3rd time today. And he did a lot of that on his own. Great run as Robert Kling boots it out of the stadium, over the net.
Did we miss an extra point somewhere?
No, he just kicked it through. We got it up there now, 28.
Oh, okay.
So it's all Fighting Clan here with 4:16 to go, already 28-0 Vineland. Figure Vineland looks to get this ball back after the possession by the Cougars and get one more, and then we'll see what happens in the second half. Running clock is 35, or how many points is running clock, Coach? Remember, we used to have that a lot before.
35.
35. Right now, if I'm playing, if I'm Cash Phillips wanting my touchdown, I'm going over to Robert Kling and I'm saying, listen, we score again, you missed this, I'm buying you dinner. Because you want to get your score before that clock starts running. And of course, Vineland thrilled to have Isaiah Pacheco back at quarterback as he looks fantastic today. Both with his arm, that bullet, 2 touchdown passes, 3, 2 of them came back, but nice throwing, good composure. And then when there was pressure, one of the niftiest runs you've seen in a long time as he hits the brakes, cuts back inside, side steps, shuffle steps, and then into the end zone.
4 possessions, 4 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Don't get any better than that.
This one may be returned, caught at the 7-yard line for the Cougars and brought down almost in his tracks. Justin Young for the Fighting Clan, the senior at 5'10", 185 running back and corner makes the tackle.
10. But Cherry Hill East, again, the ball will be at the 21.
I've not seen on that kick return. There's been some massive, massive hits. And it didn't look like anybody really wanted to get a full head of steam going against that Vineland kickoff team.
They've covered the kickoff very well tonight.
And that was a tentative run.
And the kicks have been high enough to get them down there.
Oh, yeah. Well, the last two into the end zone, landing about the 5. You know, as we get into the meat of the schedule where field position is going to be important, it's really nice to have a strong-legged kicker like that, like Robert Kling. So Gordon's going to option himself to the outside. He makes the initial move, but he was swarmed over by Datrell Williams.
Fumble is recovered by
and the ball is loose. When Datrell hit him, the ball came out. That's why I thought he was tackled. And I saw a pile move out, but Datrell Williams makes the hit, knocks the ball out, and Vineland back in the red zone. They're going to start from the Cougar 18. Vineland gets this in an extra point, Coach. Then we go to that running clock, which I'll tell you a little bit about as they get ready. Been on the wrong side of that for a while, but once the team's up by 35 points, even out of bounds, the clock will just keep rolling. The only time it'll stop is on scores. And the referees blow this dead. The only time it'll stop is on a score or on a timeout. Kind of you see that in soccer where you just have to pass around when you're beating somebody. This is a big, fast, and strong Vineland team that really seems to be clicking. They have a lot of options on what they can do. Pacheco to throw. Steps up in the pocket, buys some time. Now he's going to run it himself. Dips in, dips out, squirts through, picks his way to another score. But there is a flag back at the 20.
That's number 1, Pacheco, for the touchdown.
It looks like a flag right on the 20, doesn't it,
if we're
Coach?
going to be anywhere successful this year, we have to get rid of the penalties.
Yeah. I agree. I concur with. I'll take the Anderson one. That's something you got to take out of people, that aggressiveness. But a nice hit, just a little too far away. Okay. The other penalty that got called back was a defensive offsides, which wasn't not. But I agree with you. When we play these teams that are a little more established, setting up 1st and 15 is enough to kind of kill a drive sometimes. Right. And a 4th touchdown comes off the board for the Clan. And here we go around to the outside. It's Blakely. Woof. And another flag.
Ball carrier number 5, Cash Phillips.
Make that Phillips on the carry. Sorry about that, Cash. As Phillips finished strong, runs over. See, this is a problem when you're beating somebody 28-0 in the second quarter. The officials now feel the need to try to find and call things to keep Vineland out of the end zone. Well, the way you keep them from scoring so much is after they get this one in, then you have your running clock. But you can't over-officiate one side because they're putting it on the other team.
Rich, that's our 10th penalty.
4 touchdowns called back, 3 on our fouls.
You can't be a good team and do this. You have to.
Well, I'm not even sure there's a penalty on that one. I think score helps make that penalty. Seymour through the middle, drags forward, picks up about 7.
Ball carries number 28, Devon Seymour.
I think if the score is 0-0, there's no hold on that play.
Across.
Did you see a hold? Not at all, right?
Down to 15 yards to go.
So when you're in a tight game, it goes. Right now the officials are looking for whatever they can find, and it's happened for us on the other side when we're getting killed. Oh, they brought that back. Well, I didn't see that. Big pressure. Can Phillips get to the outside? Moves to the inside. One guy to beat. And dives forward, getting back inside the chain, setting up a 3rd and 7. Nice job by Phillips.
The ball will be started at the 15.
You know, and Cash Phillips waited a long time to play here at Vineland. Has transferred in right after the football season and didn't miss lifts. Worked out all year long, waiting for this opportunity in his senior year.
Down about 7 yards to go.
He was one of the Cape Atlantic's top rushers as a freshman at St. Augustine Prep, and you know he's looking forward to that game again. So 3rd down and 7. Seymour through the middle, spins, stays on his feet, and like a salmon upstream dives forward, setting up 4th and about 5. This could be a chance for a field goal as Kling tries to get his shot. It'd be about a 26-yard field goal.
4th down. About 4 yards to go for the first.
I wish I was a fan today. I'd be yelling, kick it, kick it, kick it right now. Let's take a look at that special teams. Looks like Coach Russo's calling the official over. He's going to call timeout when they're down to a second and set up his last play. We're down under 2 minutes at 1:48 and running. They're calling Kling over. He's going to get a shot at his field goal. As Vineland uses their last timeout to set up this field goal.
Timeout, Vineland.
I don't know, Rich.
The ball pretty
See
centered.
the kicker on the field.
He's coming in right now. They're just hollering, Kling, Kling, Kling. Called the timeout to get him in there, number 13. New snapper today is Mike Bachma. He does the long snaps for the place kicking and has done a nice job. We see him there, big number 70, the sophomore. Naheem Anderson snaps for the punts. Naheem, really strong long snap is Naheem number 8 right there along with Rich Lane coming off right into your living rooms. But Bachma on that short snap, it's a lot easier for people to handle. You know, it's not like a missile coming at you, so that really helps to hold a lot. And Kling, plenty of leg. We'll see where he sets up. It should be about a 26-yard attempt.
27, Rich, it should be.
Right on the money you go, Coach. 27-yard attempt. Slight breeze. Going from right to left, top of the screen down to the bottom, you see the American flag. It's a low snap, but it's put down.
All right.
What a job.
Good.
Sadly, I missed who did the holding on that. It could have been Blakely.
So
I believe it was, but what a great hold. Is he spots that down, snaps back, good enough. Great job with the hold, and congratulations on your first field goal for Robert Kling as Vineland goes up 31-0 as we're down to 1:34 to go in the first half.
5 possessions, Rich, 5 scores.
And you know what? The touchdowns were great on that last drive. We scored 6 times, I think, but only 1 counted the field goal. But it's nice to see that you have that weapon. As you saw from 25, I'm not saying, oh, he'll make a 45er, but that had enough for 45. So you have enough leg that if you get about to the 20, you have a shot right now. You know, you're back a little further, you got a chance, but I think you can say he's going to be pretty solid, 35 in for sure. Nice blocking also up front. A lot of times we couldn't make extra points because people were just right on top of the holder. So Kling doing a lot of kicking tonight. He'll have to ice down after as he's been put to work. 4 extra points and a field goal. This one a line drive. Going again for the 3rd touchback of the game for Kling.
Ball will be spotted at the 20. Cherry Hill East will have it. 1st and 10 from their own 20.
Robert Kling, the senior, as I've mentioned many times, senior, 6'2", 215. Former soccer player, made the transition in the middle of last season. Spent some time at camp honing these skills, and talking to him pregame, he's hoping to get an opportunity to kick in college.
Listen to the field position of Cherry Hill. 20, 20, 20, 20, 25. That's not bad. You keep a team backed up like that.
Yeah, then 1 tackle for loss, and you're looking at punting from your end zone. It really puts some pressure on them. So let's see if the Cougars and Gordon under center just look to hand this off and get out of this half, because Vineland out of timeouts. There's a dive up the middle. Nothing doing there as Ziegler brings him down with some help. As a former defensive lineman, when the defensive lineman slows him up and Cosby comes up and kills him, I'm always like to mention that lineman who slows things up, slides to the ball. Once again, last season's Vineland Fighting Clan, for most of the year, the defensive line was well better than average and really was one of the better things on the team along with the linebackers. This year, the secondaries, they're not getting challenged that much in the air, but they're in the right spot all the time. Pre-snap, we used to have coach yelling and screaming, "Where you at?" That's not happening anymore. There's a give up the middle. And just forward for a few yards goes James
Is this
Roberts.
a vanilla offense or what?
This
is not even. They have no
Ball
chance.
spotted 24.
I mean, you're not.
The third down.
Rich,
And about
they
6
keep
yards to
handing
go
the
for
ball
Hurst.
to the fullback. You know, in this kind of offense, you've got to have an outside threat somewhere.
Yeah, and you know that offensive line, there's a little weight to him, but there's not much height or size. You know, 5'8", 185 is the center. He's 5'8", 185, playing against 6'2", 350 that can move probably faster than he can. Nice job there by Williams. Comes up and helps out on the stop, and that's going to do it for the first half. And before
that is
Coach
the end of the
takes
first
us
half.
through this exciting first half of football, let's mention our last 6 sponsors here. We'll start off with Larry's 2 Restaurant. That's Larry's 2 Restaurant at 907 North Main Road in Vineland, 856-692-9001. And Ducharme's Pro Put, that's Ducharme's, at 925 East Landis Avenue, Vineland, 856-690-1500.
Just a reminder again that the concession
And Patino
stand is
ShopRite,
open.
1255
The concession
West
stand is
Landis
located
Avenue in
behind
Vineland,
the
856-691-9395. Bachma Landscaping,
stop by the concession
822
stand.
North
We have
Brewster
everything
Road,
for you, like
Vineland,
pizza, hot dog,
856-691-1559.
meatball,
Sir Speedy Printing, 22
soda,
West Landis
Gatorade,
Avenue,
water,
Vineland,
tea,
856-691-0741.
everything
And
you
Dr.
like to eat.
Joseph
So please don't
Bernardini
stop
at
out
Reconstructive
to our
Orthopedics,
concession stand.
994 West Sherman Avenue, Vineland, 856-696-0900. Coach.
Yes, Rich, pretty good, exciting first half for Vineland, up 31-0. We start with Cherry Hill got the ball, punted. We went on a 64-yard drive with Pacheco going the final 9 yards in the end zone at the 5:26 mark. Coming into the second quarter, we got the ball back again from Cherry Hill. Pacheco at the 11:15 mark on a 24-yard run. Kling kicked it, went up 14-0. We got the ball back again and pass from Pacheco to Anderson.
Now entering the field for your
20
listening
yards,
and
we
viewing
went up
pleasure is
21-0
the
with King's
2016 Vineland High
Again,
School
we got the ball back.
marching
Pacheco on a
clan.
20-yard run. On
The
a
band is led
20-yard
onto the
run.
field by
Kling
drum
cooked
major
at the
Vinny
4:16
Bonteri.
mark to go up
He is assisted by
28-0.
band captain
And at the
Nastasi
2-minute
Knott
mark, Kling
and
hit
band
a
lieutenant Kayla
27-yard field goal and be up 31-0. Reason not mentioning Cherry Hill, Rich, because we talked about that. They started at the 20, 20, 20, 20, and 25. And in my chart, they had 1 first down. So they're giving the ball up.
Outstanding job on both sides of the ball. Vineland, 4 TDs called back in the second quarter to go with that. So we're going to step away from our booth as the VHS Marching Clan take the field, and we'll be back for second half football here as Vineland leads at the half 31-0 over the Cougars of Cherry Hill East.
Now sit back and enjoy the 2016 edition of the Vineland High School Marching Clan.
Welcome back to Cantone Stadium and Vineland High football at halftime with Vineland High ahead 31-0. My name is John Parentazzi. I'm a color analyst along with my partner Rich Scarpa, play-by-play. And Vineland, Rich, looked very good, and you got some stats for us.
Yeah, very good on both sides of the ball. Let's start out with the positive for that defense that now has not given up a point in 6 quarters. And that was the offense of the Cougars was pretty much non-existent, as quarterback Gordon had 7 carries for 16 yards. Running back Roberts, 6 for 7. Running back Jackson, 5 for -4. That's 18 carries for 19 yards. So no completions passing, 0 for 1. So 19 yards of offense for the Cougars. For Vineland, Vineland was led by Pacheco, rushing 9 for 105. Seymour, 11 for 52. Phillips, 5 for 49. That's over 200 yards rushing in the first half, along with Pacheco's 3 touchdowns. Pacheco passing, 1 for 4 for 14 yards, and that 14-yarder was a touchdown complete to Anderson, Naheem Anderson, on the 14-yard TD reception. Robert Kling converts all the extra points and a field goal, and that gets us to where we're at 31-0 as we get ready to start this second half. And again, it's been just totally dominated by Vineland. As I mentioned, only 19 yards offense for the Cougars in that first half, and I think 11 of them came on the first drive.
Yeah, I'd like to give some accolades, Rich. I'd like to really congratulate the offensive line. They've done a super job of blocking up front, coming off the ball. They really have shown some aggressiveness off the ball, and that's really good to see, because one of the complaints we've always had was the line.
Yeah, and Coach
back.
Coach Cefalalio, that's Sylvester Cefalalio, the offensive line coach, really has them playing well tonight and gelling, and things are just really, looking up. And it's going to be hard to tell with Pacheco out of that first game along with Banks, what you were doing offensively. You certainly played a much stouter defense against Bridgeton. But right now things are really clicking. As we went before half, Vineland had 3 or 4, at least 3, if not 4 touchdowns called back in that second quarter alone. So right now you have a beaten Cougar team that's going to try to rebound, but they're going to start out the worst place they can be, which is on defense, where they've struggled a lot.
Yeah, Rich, in that first half, we had the ball 5 times and put 5 scores on the board. It just doesn't get any better than that. I mean, and there were good drives. The first one was 64 yards. That's a pretty good drive when you keep the ball. And the clock went very fast, because we only threw the ball, Rich, 3 or 4 times? We didn't throw the ball too often.
Well, that counted 1 for 1, but there's 2 touchdowns called back on completed passes in the end zone. We had Cash Phillips return a punt for a touchdown. The very next play catch, and that got called back. The very next play, catch a touchdown in the end zone. That got called back. And then Anderson had a second catch in the end zone when he jumped in front of Williams. That got called back. So 3 completed touchdown passes called back on penalties.
Rich, is how we like to compliment the team. In the span of 2 games, we've had 22 penalties.
22 in a game and a half. Let me show you how I do this math here. 22, right? And we have 2, 4, 6 quarters. So I'm going to see how many times that 6 going to run in there. I'm going to know 6 times 3 is 18. That leaves me 4.
As we talked before, against the better teams, you're not going to make that up.
No.
It's going to stop drives. It keeps the momentum out.
Well, I'm going to give.
And there are penalties that you can wipe them out. You can make sure they don't happen.
Especially when the team's punting you the ball.
Yeah.
And you don't really have a block on, and you're getting a head start. Like, they really don't hurt you because the down and distance is like 18 to go.
Yeah, jump
but
offside.
Still, but there's been a lot of years where we're not talking about we're up 31-0. We got to clean up on offsides. You know what I mean? They're overcoming so much of this. And I will say this, that second quarter, I'm not saying there wasn't a holding here or there, but to call holding when a team's winning 31-0, you just have to grab it for a second. In a 0-0 game, you got about 5 seconds till you have to let go. So the game gets called much tighter on you.
Yeah.
But they have to adjust to that and understand that too.
Yeah, that's one of the aspects. As we get into the schedule and you're starting to play the preps in Millville and Mainland, you just can't. That's the only negative thing I can think of. Right now they're running the ball well, they're throwing the ball well, they're playing defense super.
Well, back deep for Vineland, they're sticking to it right here as they have Pacheco back deep along with Phillips. In front of them, Kent and Seymour. Let's see how the Cougars start this. They're going to kick it deep. A lot of people don't. Cash Phillips had 2 called back. Now he's going to try to run one in on a kickoff. As he comes to the outside, he picks up a block, gets wedged to the sideline, stays on his feet, and he just gets tripped up. Steps on the foot of his own player, it looked like. But with nice patient return and a great return, almost to midfield to the Vineland 48.
Boy, he's been a great acquisition, hasn't he?
Oh, fantastic. And the
He
coach is
really-
talking about him.
He's really given Vineland an extra weapon.
And aside from his speed and agility and this and that, he's a smart football player. And I think you can always use some of them as Phillips gets it this time over the left side. Nice block in front, and he's going to pick up about 7 or 8. Nice job by Ivan Hale. Two-way starter, senior 6'3", 285, who just led that up. Did a really nice job blocking in there. You could say Phillips and Seymour really complement each other well, but they're both fast. They're both strong. Yeah, they're not as different as you would think, but it is definitely a change of pace. So second and short for the Fighting Clan. High snap over Pacheco's head. And it squirts loose from him. And that's going to be Cougar ball at the Vineland 32. Pacheco had it hit his hands over his head and not able to pull it down as he dove on it wisely. The ball popped out. So Cherry Hill East, of course, with their best starting field position and their best field position of the day.
By far, Rich. They haven't been on the other side of the 50.
So back to that wishbone full house backfield, very tight formation. Vineland shows blitz, and they do. Gordon tries to keep it himself and picks up about 3.
Here's a good time, Rich, to put the clamps on them.
Yeah, definitely got to shut them down here, get your next score, then figure out what you want to do. But the offense has given this Cougar offense the best chance they've had on that turnover. The defense is going to get a little tested here as there's not much room behind them here at the 29-yard line. Both backers coming. Gordon says, I'll let you run by and I'll go forward. But Ziegler doesn't move, and they pick up maybe a half a yard. It's going to be third down now, about 6. So it seems like Yusuf Gordon, the quarterback, when he sees that stunt coming, he's just going to keep it himself and be happy with the couple yards. That's what Coach Cohen wants from him out there. And even if it's not going to net first downs, they're positive plays of a few yards, which there hasn't been many. So 3rd and 5. Delay going to come here in 1 second. And he just got it off. Hit as he throws.
Oh, he had him.
The receiver had a step. That's Josh Santana. As Pacheco undercut it, but he was getting drugged down, the quarterback Yusuf, right as he tried to throw it. So that falls incomplete. 4th down now.
Looks like they're going to go for it, Rich. They got nothing to lose.
Certainly, and punting's been pretty dangerous for them. So one more play here for that Vineland defense to turn it back over to the offense. 9:21 in. See if they try to do that little pass again. That's the closest they had to someone open. Pressure. Trying to take the edge away from Yusuf. It's intercepted. Richard Lane comes to the near side. He needs one more block. Cash Phillips tries to give it to him, but breaking free is Lane. Spinning down, staying on his feet, and finally brought down inside the 30-yard line. Phillips trying to screen out and block 2 guys. Lane able to break through the first tackle. A smart heads-up return as he got by the initial man, bellied back a few yards. And not only does Vineland get the ball back, but they're in nice field position here. So the loss on that fumble was just a couple minutes off the clock as Vineland in great field position, up on the ball already, ready to play some football. And Cherry Hill East needs to send some more guys in. That's just the ball they want. Ritsopoulos down at the bottom of the screen. Here's your wide out. Big pressure. All out blitz. Seymour still able to get forward for a few.
He's running very hard tonight, Rich. It doesn't look like it that he gets a yardage, and he gets 4 and 5.
He falls forward almost every carry, which is, you used to yell it. I used to yell it. If you fall forward, finish forward, you're getting 2-3 yards for sure. Phillips over the right side gets a nice block out front by Seymour. Phillips stays on his feet. Can he get in?
Yes.
He does. So Phillips finally gets his touchdown after a couple were called back on back-to-back plays.
26-yard run, Rich.
So welcome to Vineland for Cash Phillips, who cashes in on his first touchdown as a VHS Fighting Clan member. Great addition to the team. So fortunate to have him on both sides of the football. So Kling looks to add another extra point. That one hits the pole or the bus. That's another good one. And that all started with Richard Lane, 45, with the interception return that then sets up 5 Cash Phillips. It was first Fighting Clan touchdown for him that stuck. 3rd time he celebrated in the end zone. So now with it 38-0, we touched on that running clock for a second. As I mentioned, the clock will just keep running except for on timeouts or scores. And that'll really speed up this second half. Now, if Cherry Hill East were to score and the difference would be less than 35, it'll go back to more of a...
No, doesn't go back.
It keeps going?
Yep. I'm sure.
If you're sure,
Once
I'm right behind you. Because
once it goes, it goes.
And it stays. Well, I guess at 35, you kind of don't figure there's going to be 21 minutes left in the game,
Yeah.
And if you got up this lead, you got to figure you're going to get some more along the way, even with your shoes.
Stuart McLean that, but I'm sure he told me one time that the clock will run.
So Kling, who has 3 touchbacks today on his kickoffs, will try again.
This is into the wind, Rich, a little. See the
Yeah.
flag blowing?
Let's see where he gets this one. This
Yeah.
one's high and going
The
to be
wind took
returned right from the 15. Staying on his feet and then whipped back. Nice tackle on the play.
51.
That's Cosby.
Cosby, how about that, Cosby?
Yeah, Vineland keeps a lot of their starters and
Yeah.
primetime players in on special teams, which I certainly agree with, especially offensive special team plays. You have an opportunity to get your players in space, and you want to have the right guys out there for it. So back to around that 20-yard line. Looks like the 23 or 4. That's about where they've started every but one drive.
Yeah, clock is moving, Rich.
So we're at 7:35 and running in the third quarter. It's been all Vineland. Vineland with 3 or 4 TDs called back in an exciting first half. They convert their second drive for a touchdown. Cougars try to draw Vineland off sides and over the right side. The blocking got out in front pretty good, but contained on the outside was outstanding as inside backer Cosby along with Sansalone do a nice job out there, with Wynant Kent also cleaning that up.
They just don't have the speed to get outside, Rich.
No,
And the formation to get
Yeah.
outside. It doesn't matter.
and kind of the technique. I mean, blockers were 20 yards in front.
Yeah.
You know, you got to block the initial line of scrimmage, especially against this Vineland team.
If you're going to run any kind of veer or wishbone, you got to be able to pitch the ball at some junction.
Agreed. There's a give in the backfield and another loss on the play. You hear PA announcer Elliot DeShields calling out Cosby yet again on another stop. And 3rd and long now.
Brings up 3rd down. 3rd and about
14.
14 yards to go. Let the ball be spotted at the 17.
Well, you know, I always like to set a line, and a lot of times we don't talk about it. Today at work, I laid 35 points and took Vineland. So I'm looking pretty good. I had 45 in my head, and I was like, let me give 35, give me a little room, and nothing doing there for Yusuf Gordon.
There's no threat anywhere, Rich. There's absolutely no threat.
And there's definitely no chance to throw the ball. He doesn't have time to hand the ball off before he's getting killed. And that's something that's neat with that front. With just the 3 guys, we talked about needing something up on the edge, and you're absolutely right. But just with the 3 guys, you have double tights. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7 guys blocking, and we line up with 3, but then 2 of these backers are coming. And they're not able to pick them up, especially the mismatches up front. So Vineland looks like they're setting up a punt return, different personnel in there up on the line. As Bachma checks in at nose guard here. Almost blocked, but the kick is away. And it takes a Cougar hop and down at the Cougar 45. So Vineland in Cougar territory yet again, as we have 4:30 and running on the clock in the third quarter.
Fighting Clan will take over 1st and 10. Ball be spotted.
Vineland's offensive line checking back in as we have an injured Cougar on the field. Up on that offensive line at right tackle, Timmy Jones, number 57. Seen him play before. Good, nice player, but he's really settled into the tackle spot and done a really nice job. And Timmy's junior at 5'11", 210, when your guards are 350 pounds, 285 pounds, and 300 pounds. So a little flip-flop you expect to see him at guard, but he's holding down the tackle position. Big pressure from behind on Pacheco. He tries to cut in, and there's a nice defensive play by Dante Gazzola,
Ball carriers number 1, Pacheco.
a running back linebacker. It's the first time I saw some speed, able to track him down from behind as Gazzola comes all the way from the top of the screen.
236.
Yeah, he
So
still gained 9 yards.
I was just getting to that. We
Yeah.
talk about
One.
a really nice defensive play, and it's a tackle from behind and a gain of 9 for Pacheco. But that may be one of the better things they've done today. Here's Seymour, right through the gut. Nice
He's got the
tackle on
first
that
down.
play. But he's going to get the first down as once again in on the stop is Dante Gazzola. And they signal first down.
Again, the ball spotted at
3:13 in the third. Well, next week I'm going to have to look up when's the last time Vineland scored blank points. Look to add to this 38. Phillips to the top of the screen. Nobody home. Phillips in the green. Phillips to the corner. Phillips on the score.
Cash Phillips.
34-yard touchdown run for Cash
36
Phillips.
yards.
36. Real nice blocking and containment and seal. Seymour just pounds the middle all the time. They bunch up, and then just great blocking up the field. And the speed of Phillips outruns any angle anybody has. As we congratulated Phillips earlier on his first, here's your second. Nice run, Phillips. And you're an offensive lineman, and you're racking up over 300 yards rushing. Vineland's added about 55, 60 this half, to go with their about 205 in the first half.
Is good.
Kling boots another
in the
one.
third quarter. Fighting Kling lead 45, 2-0.
See Phillips getting some congratulations on the sideline. Coach Vizo, the quarterback coach, right there with him. He was one of your quarterbacks.
Yep.
And for some reason, he always says to say hi to you, and he likes it. The linemen just go, "You up there with Coach?" Yeah.
Chris was one of the hardest workers. Great story about Chris. You know, he finally won the job his senior year. Went to Temple, walked on, made the team.
Oh, nice.
Transferred to, I think, Bowling Green, walked on, made the team. You know how hard that is, Rich? You think about it. It takes some fortitude, some hard work. And
you're not exactly treated like the best and given the best of opportunities, and to overcome that adversity.
it just was a hard work. And I'll tell you what, he just worked hard to win that job.
Here goes Kling again. This one's bobbled at the 10. Back up with it to about the 15, and then running into a pile of Vineland tacklers at the 22 or 23, where the Cougars will take over with 2:40 to go in the third. We couldn't ask for a better atmosphere. You know, without question, this stadium is outstanding. The scoreboards, if you're a high school player and you're deciding where you want to play football with this school choice, and you look at this stadium, see your face on a baseball card up on the thing. There's replays up on this big screen from us at time to time. It's just an absolute wonderful place to play football. I've not played at a better place. You know, we like Cherokee's field setting, but all the amenities here, top notch, 155 and running. They try to run it up the middle again, and that poor guy's getting slaughtered.
There's just no threat of anything, Rich. You got to figure out, if you're Vineland's defense, they ran the ball up the middle all but maybe 3 times. So there's no threat anywhere. So you really can just come hard. I'm sure the linemen are shooting gaps, and and they're overpowering the front wall of the other team.
Well, if you're that 150-pound center trying to handle one of the best defensive linemen in the league, Ziegler, you're giving up 200 pounds. But not only that, you got guys blitzing the A-gaps. All he's got to do is touch you, And both backers are through. Trying to get to the outside this time. Goes Gordon. He makes a move, stays on his feet. And a 9-yard run, and it looks like the second first down of the game. That's the other thing you're talking about. You know, there's not a threat. And even if he pops out wide like that, you can track him down. I haven't seen the speed from the Cougar team to come close to matching the Vineland sideline that way.
We have an injury timeout.
So you get your second first down, and the way they're bending his toe back, that's a cramp on Yusuf Gordon. They're just going to drag him off the field, and because we got a running clock. Now they stop for the injury here. My trick coaching either football or wrestling was when somebody got hurt, I'd move real slow to them and hope they stood back up pretty quick so we didn't have to do all this precautious stuff. Just a leisurely pace, and a lot of times somebody will pop back up. But he'll pop up with that cramp, come back in a couple minutes, and cramp up again, as that often is the case. Quarterback Lyndon Williams warming up on the sideline for the Fighting Clan. He's a senior at 6'1", 185. Your starter for most of the year last year, as Pacheco was at running back most of the time. Lyndon also managed that game. There's balls loose on the ground and jump back on top of by Mitch Donovan. And that's what happens when you get a new quarterback in. There's Donovan, the original starter, last week. And it's been Yusuf Gordon this week. And when you have a new guy in there getting that exchange, a lot of times that's what's going to happen.
Second, about 15 yards to go. Ball flies at the 30.
So second and long, as they're going to drop about 6 yards, and that does it for the third quarter.
Rich has been all Vinyl High, except for the fumble. We've scored on 7 out of 8 possessions. High snap.
Yeah.
That was the end of that possession. But, you know, it's been pretty dominant by Vinyl High tonight.
You have that mistake. And then on the next drive, you have, there I am waving to you, Coach, you missed it. Then on the next drive, you end up having Rich Lane intercept one, return it about 45 yards to just really negate a lot of that.
Right.
Great shots from our crew as we're looking at that VHS cheerleading team. And our crew tonight, Mark McGill, Skylar LeBruno, Kayla Spire, crew chiefs Doug Diola and Ryan Steinbraun, and executive producer of VPS TV is Gia Masori, the school district's public information officer. Vineland's going to get some young guys in there, some new guys in there, as Ricardo Nieves, the tackle, he's a junior at 5'10", 259, checks in. See if I can catch some of the other ones, and nice job by Ziegler as he comes out. Dylan Finaccio, senior, 6', 230, he's in on the defensive line. And Vineland will keep Reyes in there. And Yusuf Gordon back in. Tries to get wide to the top of the screen, and does. Man on man, and finally brought down. Nice job by John Garcia, the sophomore, at 5'5", 130. Tracks him down and makes the play. And he was out on an island as Gordon had some space, was looking good.
Well, Rich, it just shows the example. You got a threat to the outside. You know, that's the first sign we've seen of any threat to the outside. And especially that kind of offense, you know. Once you have a threat, you're okay.
Then you can use that threat to set the rest of your offense up.
Then you run your number one.
Mm-hmm. So 3rd and 10. Again, they go option to the short side this time. Turn in the corner and getting knocked out of bounds after a gain of 5. And it looks like 4 officials call a little bit of a late hit on that sideline. That could be another first down for the Cougars. 10:59 to go in the ball game. Clock does stop on penalties, just why they're announced. Personal foul on Vineland. That'll be that late hit on the sideline. Also warming up for Vineland, Ryan Skelton. He's the freshman at 6'1", 165. He had a tremendous offseason for the Fighting Clan. They were talking about how well he reads a defense. He's the quarterback of the future coming up for the Clan, and an outstanding young man. I have the opportunity to coach him senior league baseball, and a leader there, a leader here on the football field. Hopefully he'll get in for a little bit after Williams. Also, we'll look to see if 81 Conrad Jackson gets a shot in there. He was another freshman name they talked about preseason-wise. One of the scrimmages really just dominating. 1st and 10 now for the Cougars at the 45 of the Fighting Clan. Ball loose on the ground. Looks like the quarterback able to get back on. It's going to be 2nd and 10. 10:40 and running. All Vineland.
They seem to self-destruct a little bit, Cherry Hill, when they get a break, which they got to.
Yeah. And the other thing was that one real nice run to the outside that Garcia makes the tackle on. It just netted them the 9 yards they lost on the first 2 plays. You know, so again to the top of the screen, this time flashing up goes the Vineland defense and turns them back in. It's going to set up 3rd and about 3. Well, it appears obvious now that Gordon likes what he sees on that left side better than the right, as 3 times in a row, even to the short side of the field, he's used that sideline. Biggest play they had was the late hit for 15.
Yeah, he's got some speed, and he gets to that outside awful quick. And with us not playing a defensive end, Rich, as you know, we're not going to be able to contain him.
Junior Anthony Hernandez in at middle linebacker for Cosby, 5'10", 220. He's making the calls defensively now. And again, to the top of the screen, Gordon tries to make a move. He's going to be dropped right at the line of scrimmage, setting up 4th and about 3.
Ball carries number 21.
You think, Coach, you got a wide side to this side? You might try
I don't think he thinks he can block that side. As Justin Cardona, the junior 6'3", 180, checks in along with Daniel Medina. He's only a sophomore, 5'10", 180. He's outside linebacker.
When you got that kind of space, sometimes you don't have to block. You can break it up.
Well, talk about not having to block. We've seen Pacheco stop in his tracks, break a couple ankles, shimmy slide across the middle. So 4th down here. Could be one of the last chances, and he's going to pick up the 1st down. Keep this drive going, the best opportunity to score and break this Vineland shutout streak, which is now at 7 quarters.
35.
Roll Dan in there for Fighting Clan.
1st and 10.
Williams and Bartley still hanging back there in the back. But pretty much that second defense. And when that second defense is in there, you don't want to be the guys to give up the first points of the season. So right now is a nice challenge for the second D, mostly second D, make a stand here. Back for the 4th time in a row to the top. There's the option. Coming up and filling nicely. Good job defensively by the Fighting Clan. Has Blakely along with Garcia in there. And also, 81 Conrad Jackson, the freshman, in on that stop also.
What's the young Broom's number, Rich? 34.
34.
Have we seen him in there? I haven't seen him in there. Played a lot of ball last week.
And talk about the biggest minute of the game. Man coverage with Mr. Everything and makes an outstanding play. 2nd and 6. Make it 2nd and 7. Give right up the middle. Gain of about 3. You know what else is probably going to be ugly is that JV game on Monday. As Philip Blackwell comes in for the Fighting Clan.
About 2 yards to go.
I didn't hear it.
I was saying the JV game is probably going to be as ugly as this one. If we have a JV game on Monday. It's a little more traditional look here as Jackson presses up to the edge of the line of scrimmage. Wow, nice job right through the middle of the line. Looked like Phil Blackwell, the middle linebacker, on a stunt. Fernaccio in there helped make the tackle as Coach Russo and Volpe try to keep the players back, and they've got to be happy with what they've seen from the Fighting Clan tonight as we're down to 6 minutes in running, and it's 4th down. If Vineland can make a stop here, they may be able to keep their shutout. Now, as I was mentioning, when second-team defense is in there, if you give up the points, you're going to have a rough week of practice, if not a rough couple weeks of practice. Don't blow it. Don't ruin it for us. That's what they're being told, and they're playing well, and they've got them on a 4th down. You got to look for Jackson to go to the top of the screen. Jackson to the top of the screen. It's Comrade Jackson stringing it out nicely, but a leap forward at the end may get the 1st down. Excuse me, I was calling him Jackson. It's Gordon with it there. Officials are calling timeout. Looks like we have an injured Cougar on the sideline. Cramps again from Gordon.
Now Vineland took over, Rich.
They did make the stop.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Great job, Fighting Clan. You know, you played so well defensively, and you got some nice minutes for a lot of the younger guys, the non-starting guys, because you never know when you're going to need them. I talked pregame about Banks going out and how Richard Lane from his safety spot then is on the offensive side of the ball for nearly every snap, doing everything Banks was doing, and they're big responsibilities. And just a really nice job by the twos to make the stop. So we see some of the Vineland offense that's going to be going in. Big 9, Lyndon Williams on your left there. He's going to be in at quarterback. So we may have a couple of minutes as they work that cramp out. Running clock versus cramps. I think we're still a little ahead of the game with the time on there, but. So we watched the Vineland second team make a stop on the Cougar first team offense. Now let's see what the Vineland second team can do offensively against the Cougars. For the Cougars, the only bright spot defensively has been Dante Gazzola, who's been in on most of the stops that they've made on Vineland. Like the new center is going to be Daniel Medina. It's a give to the top of the screen. Staying on his feet, cutting to the inside, holding onto the ball, goes Garcia, John Garcia, who's been in for a while here tonight. He came in the first half, played some defense, made a couple big open field tackles, and makes a nice little run there.
Cut that up well, Rich. You really did a good job.
Only a sophomore.
Went north-south. Showed some speed, too.
At 5'5", 130, he certainly did show some speed and strength with a spin move, holding onto the ball, heading upfield. First down, Fighting Clan, Lyndon Williams in at quarterback. He gives over the right side. Another big opening. This time it's Justin Young, the senior, 185-pounder.
That is Justin Young.
Justin Young just marches right up the field.
So the ball will be spotted right around the 42.
And
very impressive tonight, Rich, the offense.
Flag.
What they get called for?
Holding.
Holding?
But you can mark that one down, but you've got a lot of new guys in there right now.
What, they don't count?
It counts.
That's like, you know.
It counts, but your
like
expectation.
Taking a swing at a golf ball and say, wait, let me do it over.
The first play
it's a do-over.
The first play you put me in for, I had 2 personal fouls on a kickoff. It happens. Get a little aggressive.
Have a do-over.
That's wiffle ball. You get a do-over. Interference. All Fighting Clan 4:23. The clock will wind. On the ready, they're fixing a little helmet in there. Between Fernaccio and Nieves up on the line. Williams gives over the right side. Trucking over the defender, picking up about 3 yards on the play.
35.
Once again goes Justin Young. So first and long,
second, Rich.
Oh, excuse me, second and about 18.
Oh, it's a good 18.
About 17 to go.
.337. Ball's loose on the ground. Williams picks it up, looks for somewhere to run, squares his shoulders, maybe loses a yard on the play. Comrade Jackson along with number 25, Javier Santana, the sophomore, checks into the game.
He's up third, about 19 yards to go. Ball spotted at the 34.
Been a long night if you're a Cougars fan here today.
Follow my Instagram.
It's been a long night today. That was pretty good, Coach. And to the top of the screen, there's some running room. Getting a nice handful of yards on the play goes Isaiah Blakely.
It's just been a long night, as you said, for Cougars, but it's also been a long time coming for Vineland.
Yes, it has.
So we have some long both ways.
And one thing this should point out is we've struggled here at Vineland. There's a lot of that. Now we're Group 5, but it used to be the big one was 4. A lot of the bigger schools go one way or the other. You have it together, and you're doing wonderful like a Cherokee, or like Eastern. Was really good, now really strong. Some of the bigger schools have had a really hard time.
Washington Township.
Yeah, they've fallen back to the pack. And there's a gift to Garcia again. He makes a nice move. He's got the first down and then some. He breaks another tackle. Can he outsprint the defense? And he does. And they're going to call him out of bounds. What a run. Nice run by Garcia. And this is where you can impress your coaches. And there's nice blocking also, but just the speed and the smarts. A really nice job. And it's going to step out of bounds. They call him at the 8. So we're down to 1:55 and running on the clock. See what Coach Russo decides to do here. Wow, Garcia looks really fast. I got to find out just how quick he is. Garcia again, over the left side. He's hit. He squirts forward inside the 5-yard line to about the 4 with 1:40 on the clock.
He's second and goal.
Otis Harold checks in. So Lyndon Williams in the huddle with some new faces. Very competent quarterback in Williams. Up the middle, Williams in for the score.
Oh.
And a flag on the Cougars. A bit of a late tackle there.
That was number 9, Lyndon Williams for the touchdown.
And Vineland's going to go for 2 here. Keep Kling on the bench. As Vineland's up 51-0.
Who was that, Williams?
Yeah, Lyndon took that one himself. Personal foul on the Cougars on the late tackle of Williams will be enforced on the kickoff. So Kling may end up having his 5th touchback today when he gets to kick it. Here's to try for 2. Top of the screen, Nobody's going to be there to get him. Justin Young with the
That's the
two-point
touchdown.
conversion.
Who ran that?
Justin Williams, number 30. As he comes off. There was nobody really to contend with Justin out there. He had an easy walk-in for the two-point conversion. So it'll be 59 seconds. Or
Rich,
excuse me,
with the
50.
clock running, each team's only had the ball one time.
Yeah. No, we had it more than that.
No, we stopped them and got the ball.
We had the bad snap that gave him another possession.
No, that was here.
Oh, you're talking about in the fourth quarter. I was doing the half.
No.
I was doing the half. You're absolutely right. I was thinking the half. It moves so quick, it seems like just a little bit. Yeah. So Vineland gets a late score. Really pile on to the Cougars.
We'll go to Cherry Hill next year, right? It's a 2-year schedule.
Yes.
No, they come here.
Oh, yeah, they're going to. Oh, maybe we'll be nice enough,
Yeah.
but I hope not, because I think that could cost me a dinner on the way home. Yeah, I was very excited to find out we were playing home instead of away today,
Oh, yeah.
as was our crew. Mark McGill, Skylar LeBruno, Kayla Spire, crew chiefs Doug Diola and Ryan Steinbron. They're happy too.
Who kicked that?
It's a high kick and into the end zone for the touchback as Kling gets his 5th touchback of the day. He's had a very good game, and not to mention the field goals, the extra points. He's really done an excellent job. Nice job, Bachma on this.
What year is he, Rich?
He's a senior. Nice job by Bachma on the snaps and holds today. I believe it's Blakely on the holds.
Shame he hasn't had another year or two experience with that.
Yeah, he was saying pregame that he wished he would have got into football a little earlier and ended that soccer run because he really likes it down there. He tells me once in a while he gets to be involved in regular football on the field instead of kicking the balls by himself.
Don't do that.
That's it. Like, don't get confused. So 2-1, and that's it. No more snaps. That's going to do it for the ball game. All Vineland 51-0. Coach, you're going to wrap up a quick second half. But I would like to thank all of our sponsors one last time as Vineland wins the home opener to go 2-0. We'd like to thank the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, 4049 Italia Avenue, Vineland, 856-691-5558. Beretta Plumbing and Heating at 1784 Pine Avenue, Vineland, 856-691-1950. Newfield Bank, 11 locations in Cumberland and Gloucester County, 800-690-3440. And Richland Carpet and Flooring, 1309 Harding Highway, Richland, 856-697-3041. RK Chevrolet Auto Group, that's Chevrolet, Kia, and Subaru at 502 North Delsea Drive in Vineland, 856-696-8400. Larry's 2 Restaurant at 907 North Main Road, Vineland, 856-692-9001. And Douche Arms at 925 East Landis Avenue, Vineland, 856-690-1500. Bettino's ShopRite, 1255 West Landis Avenue, Vineland, 856-691-9395. Bachma Landscaping, 822 North Brewster Road, Vineland, 856-691-1559. Sir Speedy Printing, 22 West Landis Avenue, Vineland, 856-691-0741. And Dr. Joseph Bernardini at Reconstructive Orthopedics, 994 West Sherman Avenue in Vineland, 856-696-0900. Coach.
Yes, Richard, second half started with Vineland having the ball. We fumbled. And immediately, Cherry Hill threw an interception. So we got the ball back. We started on the Cherry Hill 30-yard line. 26-yard run by Phillips at the 8:27 mark. Kling's kick was good, made it 38-0. We then got the ball back again at the Cherry Hill 45. Phillips on a 36-yard run. At the 2:52 mark, Kling made the kick good. It became 45-0. And we went all the way down to the 1-minute mark where Williams went in from the 10-yard line. We went 2 points. Williams scored the 2 points. And the final score, Rich, was 53-0.
Well, they Baba Booey the end of that game. Yeah, it was fantastic job by the Fighting Clan. We look forward to Egg Harbor Township next week, as I think it's been a little while since we beat them, and hopefully we can handle that next week, as that is a division game in the West Jersey League, as Vineland looks to go 3-0 for the first time in. I got to wait and tell you that after I look all that up for next week. Coach, take us out of here.
For John Parentazzi and Rich Scarpa, I want to thank you for listening, and hopefully you have a great week. And Rich,
and don't forget, we have an extra broadcast too. I was just thinking of it. If you're watching this, we're broadcasting this 6 o'clock Saturday, 6 o'clock Sunday, 7 o'clock Monday, VPS 9, Comcast Verizon Fios Channel 41. Now you got it, because I messed up. Go get me.
no, you didn't mess up. You never mess up.
Oh, you see.
Listen, everyone, have a great week, and thank you. Rich, always a pleasure.
Go Clan.